We have to understand that the West and Islam are not two different entities. I'm a Western Muslim, proud to be Western, proud to be a Muslim, as I am to be American. The civil rights complaints seem to be increasing as we go along. We're looking at employment discrimination, we're looking at policies sometimes that are sanctioned, detentions, deportations.
The Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR, wants a meatpacking plant in Nebraska to give Muslim workers time to pray around sundown. Plant says that would interrupt the assembly line. More and more of these stories are surfacing now, and I'm wondering why they weren't surfacing 10 years ago. Well, we had American Muslims then. Now we have foot washes in some public universities. We have people, cab drivers, who don't want to carry people with wine. Now we have a meatpacking plant that the Muslim workers want to, time to pray around sundown, and the plant says, hey, that's in the middle of your shift. We can't make an accommodation here. If we could, we would. But I didn't hear about any of this stuff 10 years ago. Why am I hearing about it now?
I think you're framing and contextualizing this issue inappropriately. It has no connection to any other case. It is its own case, and the case is simple. It is the failure of a corporation to provide the necessary and appropriate and reasonable accommodation, religious accommodation for workers in the workplace pursuant to Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, pure and simple.
Well, I'm saying to myself, this is an uptick in American Muslims demanding their rights. Am I wrong?
You are wrong, because there are many confounding factors that we have to look at. One is that there were no organizations or organized efforts to help those with complaints back then that could have surfaced this information.
Since September 11th, store owners say they've been targeted for retaliation.
Under suspicion if you're Muslim, and that's really unfair.
Every time something like this happens and breaks out in the news, our community is definitely targeted for bigotry, discrimination, and so the backlash is very real.
I've been victimized. It happened.
How so?
2 times my store has been broken.
But witnesses to the Glasgow airport attack described the men as being South Asian descent.
Even though these people claim to act in the name of Islam and in the name of God, neither Muslims nor God can sanction any type of cowardly terrorist act.
How do we stop the paranoia, those of us who aren't Muslim?
For us to sort of shoot in the dark and hope to get the right duck, that's pathetic, because you're going to shoot in a population of 1.4 billion people. We also need to know that per your story, and I really like the story because it makes that point, you are more likely to see a Muslim American grow to be a doctor than to be a terrorist. That's fact on the ground, and I challenge anyone to prove otherwise. You're more likely to find a Muslim American on a plane being a surgeon willing to help somebody in trouble than being a terrorist willing to take the plane down.
I like that.
The Pope needs to apologize in a frank manner. Building bridges of dialogue and understanding is the only solution that we should pursue. We ask the U.S. government to provide the Lebanese people with the necessary humanitarian aid.
And they add that American money is being used to support Israel.
We're here to condemn the murder of innocent civilians with our tax money. We are taxpayers, and we are ashamed of being perpetrators of these crimes.
We want peace like everybody else in the world. That's all we want is peace.
We recognize a responsibility in working with governmental agencies in making this country safe and secure for all. Every cloud has a silver lining, and I think the silver lining here is our reaching out and attempting to educate our fellow citizens and our neighbors about who we truly are.
Muslims want to make it clear that Islam is not terrorism.
It is not fascist. It is not hateful.
To be pointed out and stopped and asked, why are your people creating this havoc? Why are your people killing, Americans? And I'm like, they're not my people. You are my people.
This is my country. This is my homeland.
The enemy of us all is terrorism, not Islam. Islam is a religion, a faith that inspires people to do good. America needs to learn more about Islam, and we as Muslims need to do a lot more to help that discussion and that education process.